Alright, time for a skid plate install. So in the kit, there's a kit plate. I think that's why it's a little bit heavier, because it's got those side wings to protect the side of the bike. It's still fairly light, actually. It's aluminium, powder coated. Then there's a couple of brackets. We'll work out where they go. And a bag of bolts, again some rubber spacers, I think, washers for the install. So and the instructions. So we'll get stuck into that now. There are 4 different lengths of bolts and 2 rubber spacers along with 6 washers. So just keep that in mind when installing. Okay, with the skid plate install, I'm following the Lone Rider instructions, and according to their instructions, the skid plate comes pre-installed with these brackets, right? And so it sort of guides you on really installing these rubber grommets, which you install, which you just, you hand screw it in, and these side brackets. But what you do need to do is you do need to install these brackets onto the skid plate before you go to the next step. So I think I started following the instructions and I got stuck a little bit because after installing these brackets, they said move to the skid plate and start putting the skid plate on. How are you going to do that when I don't have these brackets on? So anyway, easy done. I'm just going to fit them on now, just following the instructions that are provided with the kit. There are no step-by-step instructions. That's why I went to a video. It's just pictures, but pictures should be enough for me to complete this anyway. It's not that hard, but yeah, that's just one point. Just note that because the video is a little bit different. Now these plates that go onto the skid plate are really good. They've put this bit of rubber down the bottom so it doesn't scratch the skid plate on both sides, which is very nice touch. So that piece goes there with 4 screws, and the rear piece goes in with another 4 screws, and then the skid plate should be ready for the mounting onto the bike. All right, we'll go and do that. All right, the Lone Rider skid plate installation is complete, and I must say it was a bit harder than I expected to be. The crash bars were so easy. I thought, oh yeah, skid plate's going to be just as easy to slap on. So anyway, it's on. It clears my alt rider guard even better than the original plate, which is really good, and it gives me enough room to pop this off if I want to clean behind. That's nice. It sort of folds up and covers the bottom of the engine, which is great, and then it folds up to the side and covers the exhaust, which is better than the original. So it's a really nice skid plate, well built. I did go back to using the alt rider bolts for the entire, so for both the crash bars and the skid plate, and the reason for that is the bottom bolt, the one down here, it is a little bit longer. It's 60 mil rather than 50 mil, which is the original bolts. So I thought if I'm using that from alt rider, I might as well just use all of them. There are Torx 40, exactly the same, so they're not Allen keys. I thought they look like Allen key. That's because I didn't have my glasses on. But they are Torx. So the skid plate, you can see down here, it really gives a much better protection to the side of the exhaust and even, you know, back here, it's really nice, really good. I think for the couple of kilos of extra weight, which is, that's what it was, heavier than the original 2.5 kilos. We said 2.4. I think it's worth it. I mean, bloody bike is so heavy anyway, so I don't think it makes much difference. But really solid, does not move, really nice. Now, why was it difficult? Why was it so? I think the biggest problem was this bottom here, because it's 5 mil thick, and you have to put, it goes on top of the crash bar. I really had trouble getting this bottom bolt and the top bolt in without, you know, just being careful not to cross thread. So I don't know how many reiterations I went removing the plate altogether, these little bolts, and then trying to fit the bar, and just, it was just so difficult to get the nice, to actually get the bolt in properly without cross threading. I was really worried about that. In the end, I thought, this is madness, this is just crazy. So I decided to drill out the bottom hole of the crash bar. I think it was 12 mil, and I just drilled it out to 13. Now that I ended up slicing my thumb open, because the stainless steel is so hard to drill, and I just couldn't hold the bar in place. I don't have a jig or anything like that to hold the bar in place, but anyway, got it done. So that just took a lot of mucking around to align everything. I wish they sort of slotted or made this hole like a diagonal slot, so that you could move it up and down, just to make it a little bit easier to install, because it's really easy to mess up and cross thread. And once you cross thread the mounts that go into the engine casing, or it becomes a bit of a problem. So this side, the right hand side, looking from the back of the bike, or left hand side looking from the front of the bike, was more difficult than the left hand side. But anyway, my only guidance, if you are installing this, or recommendation, is just be careful, right? And have everything loose, and be careful. But and it fits. In the end, it fits. Now my worry now is, if when I take it in for a service, I think I will be taking this plate and the bars off, because I don't trust the service. It's really fiddly, and I don't want anyone cross threading or damaging anything. So I might be just taking the bars off myself. That's just me, before any service. But yeah, the plate is really nice, fits nicely, gives good protection. Very happy. It's just, I wish the Lone Rider, if anyone from Lone Rider watches this or sees this, just make those holes, just slot them out a bit, so that it makes the installation a little bit easier to do. Anyway, that's it. Great product. Love it. Really good. And yeah, I'll report more after I've 10,000 Ks or something, and after I've had a chance to, and maybe everything will settle in when it heats up, warms up, shakes down, and then it won't be hard to put back on. I don't know. We'll see.